Today we are going to cover one of the most highly anticipated airdrops in the Solana ecosystem, which is Jupiter. Now, a lot of people are confused around the eligibility criteria, about what's actually going on this week. So in today's video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know, and I'll also be touching on the WEN community coin. Now, if you do enjoy the video, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel, plenty of airdrop content on the way. But without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So to get started, we're going to do a very quick overview of what Jupiter actually is. So we can see here that Jupiter is basically a swap aggregator. Now, in its simplest form, this basically means that Jupiter is going to scan through all of the dexes, the major dexes within the Solana ecosystem, and pull the best route for yourself. So this could be based on price, on liquidity, whatever it may be, but it is going to ensure that you get the best bang for your buck. Now, that is at its simplest form what Jupiter is, but when we look at how big it actually is, we can see here, looking at the stats over the last 30 days, that Jupiter's seen almost 37 million transactions and done over $700 million in volume. So definitely on the rise, and I think this airdrop could be a big part of why these numbers have moved up so nicely over the last few months. Now, just to put it into perspective of how big this actually is, we can see an article here from CoinDesk just yesterday showing that on Sunday we seen Jupiter's trading volume go over 500 million for the day. Now, this is again a very impressive stat, but just to confirm how big that actually is, we can see further down in the article that it has recently overtook Uniswap v3 to become the biggest trading platform by that metric. So that's a pretty big deal in itself, because a lot of people will be very well aware of how big Uniswap is, especially in the Ethereum ecosystem, and it really puts it into perspective that Jupiter is a big player. Okay, so now we're going to get onto information around the airdrop in itself, and almost 1 million wallets were eligible for this airdrop, so we're going to run through all the information. Now, first of all, to check if you are eligible, you're going to connect your wallet to airdrop.jup.ag. I'll leave the link in the description because I want you to ensure that you use the correct link. Please be careful, don't fall for scam links, phishing links, etc. There's plenty of them out there. But once we're on the website, we'll see a little bit further down that we can connect our wallet and check if we're eligible for the airdrop. Now, I already know that I'm not eligible for this airdrop, and I'll explain the reasons why as we go on. So unfortunately there you can see I'm not eligible, but there are still 3 more rounds, which again we'll explain in a bit more detail. Now, the interesting thing here is there are a couple of links at the bottom of the page linking to different tweets. Now, we'll go through each one very, very quickly because, to be honest, each one is basically a short novel and it'll take us all day to run through them. So the first one from Meow, the Jup founder, he basically goes through in this one all of the information around the original proposal of this airdrop. So everything to do with the amount of tokens, the percentages of where they'll be going. So 40% allocated to the airdrops, 10% to this first phase, etc. And all the information, the data is already there. Now, if we go back to the website, we can see tweet 2, the wrap up. And this again from Meow, basically it runs through some of the changes made because they have been listening to community feedback and concerns. So that's actually pretty good to see because they're, listening to the community, which is always nice. A lot of projects don't do that. And they're basically talking about more of the information in detail to clarify to concerned users. So I've got absolutely no problems with that, despite how long it actually is. And then the third one is the intern report. So I'll move on to this one, which is here. So this is the intern for Jupiter Exchange, and this basically talks more about the claim portal. Of course, at this point now, this was a few days back, so at this point now we're very much aware of the claim portal. We've just been on the website to find the tweets, but then running through more information around that, around the tiers, how many tokens you can expect to receive in this airdrop. And then lastly, we're going to look at the 4th and final tweet, which is the final review. So this really is the most important for me because it wraps everything up and explains everything at the most recent stage. But the very important part here around eligibility is at the bottom of the summary. So we've got the scoring methodology, and this is the big one. Only transactions before November 2nd, 2023 will be counted. So for myself, I've been using Jupiter quite a lot from December onwards, and I was quite shocked when I seen that I didn't receive any tokens. But of course, when doing a deeper dive, that is exactly why. It really does reward the people who supported Jupiter in the early stages and wasn't just airdrop farming like myself. You know, I'll hold my hands up, that's exactly what I was doing, so I cannot have too many complaints. However, as we mentioned, there will be future airdrops, which we'll get into in more detail now. So for those who did receive tokens in this airdrop, they can now go through the tweets and find out exactly why they received the amount that they did. For those who didn't receive any tokens like myself, hope is not all lost at this point, because there is multiple phases of this airdrop coming in the future. So this was just phase 1 of 4 or more. Now, very disappointingly, if you're expecting tokens in the near future, that isn't the case, because this is an annual airdrop. So phase 1 in what they call Jupuary, basically in January, is just the first phase in the first year over the next at least 4 years, because the next one will run in January of 2025. Now, as we can see from this tweet here from Meow, he hints at the point that when they are running these airdrops on an annual basis, they will be basically taking into account the November 2nd date like they did this time. So I'm going to assume that the criteria and the eligibility will be based on activity between November 2nd of 2023 and November 2nd of 2024. Then them tokens will be airdropped towards the end of January in the following year. So just to give you an idea that this is a process that will run on a yearly basis, you're not going to get any tokens from phase 2 next month, the month after that. So it is a long-term game. But if you are bullish on Jupiter, if you genuinely do use the Jupiter exchange, then it makes sense to continue, because there is that extra incentive. But for people farming, looking to make, you know, some quick money and just move on to the next airdrop, at this point right now, this airdrop probably isn't for you. So some of you who have been watching previous videos will be well aware that I do price prediction videos on some of the hottest tokens in the space to discuss how high they could potentially go in this coming bull cycle. Now, you may want to turn notifications on. If you've not subscribed, do so, because I will be dropping a Jupiter price prediction video on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. So the WEN airdrop pretty much softens the blow for those who didn't receive the Jupiter airdrop. And we're going to have a look at this tweet from Lady of Crypto and just run through exactly why this is the case. So if you use the Jupiter exchange for at least $5 before the 17th of Jan, so not November 2nd, you will have qualified for the WEN airdrop. Now, the WEN token is a community-based token, and it's been created to stress test the launchpad, the platform, the LFG launchpad that Jupiter have created before it goes live. Now, the thing is with this is that over 1 million wallets are eligible, and every wallet gets the exact same amount, which I believe is around 642,000 tokens, roughly at the time of recording around $50 to $60 worth of tokens. Now, the thing is, as we can see on the WEN website here, the claim portal has closed. It has ended at the time of recording, which is on the 30th of Jan. This closed on the 29th of Jan. So if you haven't already claimed your WEN tokens, you will not be able to do so now. So this is why it's very important to follow airdrop accounts like myself on Twitter in real time to make sure that you're staying up to speed in this fast-paced industry, because that claim portal was only open for probably around 5 days. Of course, it is just a test for the Jupiter launchpad, so that's probably why it wasn't open for very long, and now the remaining supply will be burned, which is thought to be around the 27% mark. So that's the case there. I mean, I think personally it's very smart what they've done here. They've done another airdrop around the Jupiter exchange, bringing more eyes to not just the airdrop in itself, but to the LFG launchpad, their new product that they have created. So in terms of timing and how they've done all of this, you know, it is pretty smart. Now, for those who were eligible for the Jup airdrop, you're probably wondering how much it could be worth. That's pretty exciting, right? The exciting part of an airdrop. Now we can see here on app.whales.market, you can look at the pre-market price, which is basically the price of the token before it goes live, looking at the OTC price. So at the minute we can see bids being filled around the 67-68 cent area. And to be honest, that is basically how you're going to be able to work out how much you may have come launch. Now, of course, this token, when it does launch, is probably going to be very volatile. You'll see, big pumps, big dumps, and that is completely normal for a new token anyway. There'll be plenty of volume. So it isn't an exact figure of what you're going to get, but you can track this and just keep an eye on what it could be before tomorrow's launch. So that pretty much wraps up the Jupiter airdrop video. Now, for many people, including myself, it probably is going to be a little disappointing. We've seen the Jupiter volume pick up over these last couple of days, but it's probably people not understanding that they are already too late for the airdrop this week. Now, keep in mind, of course, that there will be future airdrops annually over the next few years, but it really does depend if you are in it for the long term or not. Now, also keep in mind that the price prediction video will be coming on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. But if you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, please do trade safe, invest safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.